Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel, and hi if you're new here, I'm Jade and it's time for the TBR jar. As I always say, this is my favorite time of the month. I love just knowing what is going to be on there and I love a lucky dip. So yeah, best video to film by far, always going to be my favorite. So at the time of filming this, we are just over halfway through March, and I am working steadily through my TBR, but I had a couple of arcs that I was committed to this month. So I feel like things are moving a little bit slower, but I'm hoping I do make it through all of my planned reads. I'm not gonna lie, I am tempted to miss out one of my book club's reads this month. We'll see if I get to it, but it was $1.99 on Kindle, and I didn't buy it at that moment, and now it's gone up to $9.99, and it's kind of just annoyed me, okay? But anyway, I'm trying a slightly different angle with this video today. I'm hoping the light from the window doesn't like disrupt it, but I don't know, I feel like you can get a little bit more of my TBR just in the view and it's just a little bit more interesting. I don't know, let me know if you hate it. But anyway, here is the TBR jar, so let's get on with it, shall we, and pick the first one. For those of you that are new here, I always end up balancing the jar on my knee so you can see it in the camera, so excuse me while I do that. A yellow prompt, and it says a book that was published in the last year. So I think that's a pretty good prompt. There's going to be a lot to choose from, I think, so let me have a look. I think I'm going to do what I usually do and have a little look through without you having to wait forever for me to decide, and then I will give you my top few options. Okay, there are just so many options for this one, but I've just kind of picked out the ones that are most obvious to me because I know that I pretty much got them near enough when they were released, and that's definitely been within the past year. I'm kind of saying the past year is in from, like, you know, it was April last year to now, being that it's for my April TBR. Sometimes on these I'll give a bit of a detailed description of the books, but I'm gonna have to be quite quick as I've gone quite a lot and I don't want to bore you with too many details. But let's see what my obvious choices are. So Mitch Albom's Twice, I got this, I want to say, like, I think it came out November-ish time, and this just really intrigued me because it's about someone who can go back and undo things in their life, but only twice. So they only ever have 2 attempts at changing things, and then I think they're stuck with the consequences forever. Then there is Dawn of the Firebird, which is a sort of fantasy. I think this is about morals and moral complexity because it's about a girl that infiltrates an enemy army, but I think ends up questioning everything, which I kind of love this kind of vibe. I love the kind of infiltration from the inside. It kind of reminds me of A Song to Drown Rivers, of Poet Empress, although they are more on the historical fiction side. I think this is a little bit more stronger on the fantasy. My next option is Red City by Marie Lu. I'm pretty sure this came out last autumn, and I see this everywhere. Someone on my TikTok said, I really need to read this soon. So I've got to say, this one's super tempting. I honestly don't know loads about what this is about. I just saw its name everywhere and I got it in a deal, I think, when it was like buy one, get one free on a book, or buy one, get one half price or something like that. And I think it's about survival and 2 rival sides again. So that's kind of all I know about it. But yeah, tempting. Then there is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I still haven't read a Stephanie Garber book, and I picked this up because, if you can't tell by the sticker, it was 50% off when I went in Barnes & Noble once. And I always hear good things about Stephanie Garber, so I picked it up so I could try one of her books. Again, don't know loads about this one, but I think it's about a woman who gets told she is going to die the next day if she can't find, like, some kind of item. So obviously it encompasses a lot of magic, so I guess it's kind of in this fantasy realm, but I don't know if it's more magical realism than fantasy. And then next we have The Academy by Elin Hilderbrand, another one that was 50% off in Barnes & Noble, which is why I picked it up when I did. Again, not one I know loads about, but I don't know, I just kind of got St. Trinian's vibes from when I was reading into it before. I don't think the characters are quite as rebellious as that, probably. But this was on my most anticipated list for the second half of last year, and it is one that I still haven't read, so it's a good option. And then there is The Second Chance Cinema by Thea Weiss. I actually recently picked this up. Again, it was one that was on my list of most anticipated reads of the end of last year. And ultimately, I think what this is about is they find a sort of magical cinema that is hidden away, and it replays scenes from their life, and the 2 main characters discover they've been hiding secrets from each other. And I just think this is a super cool concept. And then the final one I picked out that could be chosen for this prompt is Graceless Heart by Isabel Ibanez. This was in my most anticipated reads for this year. I think it's such a stunning book, and I think it's about a girl that enters a competition in order to save her brother. So yeah, they were my most obvious choices. I still have some on here, which I'm almost certain were in the past year, but I thought this was enough to go through and enough to choose from. But honestly, this is a really hard decision, actually, because honestly, all of these books I really, really, really want to read. As I do most of my TBR, to be honest. Out of all of them, I kind of feel like I've been most desperate to read Red City, just a little bit. But I already know I'm going to be reading a few fantasies in April because at the end of March and beginning of April, there are several being released that I am super excited for. Ones that I just know I'm going to pick up really quick. And I also need to get on with my Sarah J. Maas books because obviously we've got the announcement of the new ACOTAR. I'm caught up on ACOTAR, but I've still got the last of Throne of Glass series, and I have Crescent City. So yeah. So as much as I kind of want to just choose Red City, I think I might just pick something else because this prompt allows it. Maybe Red City will come under another prompt and I'll still get it. But I do think I just want to make sure I have a bit of a range on my TBR. So let's have a look at the others. Okay, I'm just going to go with the Second Chance Cinema because this is another one I've been super excited to read. I think, as I said, the concept is really different and really cool with this. And I think it's like a cozy, magical realism kind of esque thing. So I think this will add a little bit of variety. It still has magic, but it's also, you know, a bit different from like a high stakes fantasy novel. Okay, so moving on to prompt number 2. I feel like they're all stuck together. Oh, a purple one. And it says, a book a friend recommended. I keep thinking, like, what has someone recommended me? Because most of these are recommendations, but most of them from BookTube or BookTok, to be honest. Okay, I've picked out 2 just because I know real people in my life recommended me these ones. And the first one I spotted was Metal Slinger. I recently got Metal Slinger in my book outlet haul, and this was recommended to me by a couple of people in my in-person book club. So that's an option. I think this is another book about a girl that sort of ends up getting mixed up in a different world and like questioning everything, I think. And I believe it's romantasy. And then my other choice is The Secret Life of Bees. This is my father-in-law's wife's favorite book. So she bought me a copy for Christmas because she said I need to read it. And so I feel like because this is her favorite book, it's definitely pushing me to read it. I believe it's set in the 1960s and sort of touches on racism, and it's about these black women that sort of find refuge in a place where people look after bees. And apparently it is a movie too that I definitely need to check out because it has a really good cast. So to be honest, I am leaning towards this one just because I know it's her ultimate favorite book. And I don't know, there's something about bees and springtime and, you know, it's April's TBR. So I feel like this is a really good time to pick this book up. So yeah, that's going to be my friend recommendation choice. And time for the third and final choice. In case you are new here, I only do 3 choices because I have 2 in-person book clubs that I have to keep up with as well as one online that I try to follow. So that kind of gives me 6 set books, which I feel is plenty for the month. So 3 are from my jar. So let's pick number 3. Oh god, there's 2 stuck together. Okay, I've gone for the pink one. And it says, oh my god, it won't open! Animal on the cover. Now I'm sure there are some, but they're just not sticking out to me in my head. So I'm gonna have a look. I was like, there's probably loads of them that I just can't think of. No, there's not. I have found 3 though. And I suppose if I was to use like little birds and, you know, write tiny things in the background, it might add a few more, but I've ignored those. You know, I straight away was like, Cat Lady, that's gonna have one, but no, there's no cat on the front cover. So Red City is back as an option because it has this animal that looks kind of like a lion with wings, like a kind of griffin thing going on here. So I'm like, that's an animal. It didn't say it has to be a real animal. It just said an animal. And I mean, that's definitely an animal. Dawn of the Firebird is also back because it has the Firebird on the front. And then there is a man called Ove, which I have been told that I think it is Ove and not Ove. Even though I like Ove as the name, I don't know. But it does have a little cat hanging around at the bottom of his feet. I'll be honest with you, if I go for fantasy, I think I'm just going to do Red City because I've been a bit more excited to read that one, even though I do really want to read Dawn of the Firebird as well. But obviously this does have a cat on it and I love cats. So do I go for real life animal or fantasy animal? I don't know what to pick. I don't know why I'm finding this so tough today. I mean, I could just read all of it next month if I really wanted to, and if I have time to. But you know what? I'm just going to go with Red City because I've been wanting to read it for a long time. And I don't know if I'm in the mood to cry, and I know A Man Called Ove is really sad. So I think this is a good choice. And then maybe if I feel like crying at some point next month, I will pick A Man Called Ove. So let's do a very quick reminder on our 3 books. We have Second Chance Cinema for published in the last year. We have The Secret Life of Bees for friend recommendation. And we have Red City for animal on the cover. But I hope you have enjoyed watching the video. Please let me know if you've read any of the ones that I've brought up today and if you think I should move any higher on my sort of TBR priority, even though that's really hard to do because there's so many I want to prioritize. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and I will see you again real soon. Bye!